So let us continue our video lectures on machine learning for image processing. Let us continue the discussion on maximum repository classification example. So after a brief discussion of that, we will move on to the discussion of feature extraction in images. So far, we have seen some of the machine learning aspects, especially the Bayesian classification. We have seen that the feature extraction plays a important role, or the classification framework starts after feature extraction. So in this lecture, we will see how feature extraction can be done in images. We will see in with few examples and in few general scenarios how feature extraction is necessary and important, how it can be done as well. Okay. So before I discuss that, let us complete the discussion on Bayesian classification, especially on the parameter estimation, maximum repository parametric estimation method. Example. I'm sharing the screen. Hope you are able to see this, right? So in the last class, before I leave, I have discussed about this example or introduced this example. Can one of you tell how maximum repository based estimation can be applied here for the estimation of the likelihood or finding of the likelihood? I need some inputs here. So here the samples of class 1 are given, samples of class 2 are also given. Okay, and then the both class likelihoods are assumed to be modeled as Gaussian or normal with mean and some mean and variance. We said the variance is given and the same as the sample variance. Okay, mean is to be found out either by ML estimate or by map estimate. So the question, first question is find the mean by ML estimate. Okay, so the first question asked in this is find the mean by ML estimate. The second question asked is find the mean by map estimate. Okay, and based on the mean estimate, you can formulate the likelihood. And once you have the likelihood for class 1 and class 2, okay, even if you want to do the classification, you can do it. And that is the third question. Perform the classification with the identified means and okay, given covariance for this classification problem. So that means you find out the decision boundary. Okay, so now I need some inputs from some of you. What is the first step? Some quick inputs. What is first step in doing all this? You are there or not?
First find the ML estimate of the mu1.
Okay, so mu ML estimate I have to find. Okay, for class 1 and class 2, how do I find? So assume that I want to find ML estimate for class 1. Okay, class 1 mean. Both are different, right? So class 1 mean I want to find. Can one of you help me on how do I find it?
2.125.
Okay, somebody has already found. Very good. So how to find it? 1 by
6 into sigma.
N1 I will write. Okay, number of samples in class 1 by summation of okay the features of okay are the samples of class 1. Okay, k equal to 1 to whatever here here it is 6, right? 6 samples. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, 6. Yeah. Okay, so it is 1 by 6 into something. Okay, so that is equal to how much you got? Somebody has given some answer.
That's 2.5, right? Looks like 2.3.
Yeah, somebody is saying 2.5. Okay.
No,
So
sir,
I have arbitrarily put. So
no, sir, 2.125. If it's
Okay.
2.5, I don't know. I'm not sure whether that
okay,
number looks like
something.
2.3
So
or
let's leave
2.5.
it. Yeah, no, so try to understand the procedure. Okay, you find out yourself there. Okay, oh, fine. Similarly, now mu ml. So what I want to do is I want to find the mean estimate for the second class samples. Okay, so that is the next thing, right? Okay, mu ml second class. Okay, so again, one by how many samples are there? Again, 5 samples here, right? 5 samples. 5 into summation of those samples. Now these samples are from, okay, xk, this xk, these are from xk belongs to D2. Okay, so this you will get some answer. Fine. Okay, I got these two. Then what is the next step? So I have got the ML estimates. First problem is solved. But see, okay, that is fine. So then what is the next second? What is the next step? I need quick answers now. What is second step? I want to find map estimate, assume that. Okay, what should I do? Yeah, need some quick answer.
Now we have
Nobody
to find
knows?
the map as.
Yeah, I have to find map estimate. Fine, how should I find?
So
Should
we have
I again?
everything required, right? We have
Huh?
M, we have everything, right? We have M, we have mu ml, we have sigma naught,
Okay.
and we have
So,
mu.
right. So what is the expression in which I have to substitute them?
M mu l sigma naught square upon by divided by mu sigma naught square plus sigma square plus mu naught
Okay.
sigma square
So
divided by mu
mu
sigma.
n is mu map. Okay. First, you should
Yeah.
convey that the mu n, whichever we have derived. So no need to derive again anything because we have derived only for the Gaussian case. So you take this expression mu n, whichever we have derived, and substitute them. Okay. So that's what we do. So mu ml, okay, into sigma naught square by m times or n times here. Okay, so it is n. So m I am writing, but it is n1 and n2. Okay, for class 1, class 2, they will be m is different. So sigma naught square plus sigma square. Okay, fine, plus what? Mu naught into sigma square by m times sigma naught square plus sigma square. Okay, something is missing. Yeah, here m times sigma naught square. Okay, so this is what we had, right? So in this, somebody has said we have everything. Okay, so give me for class. See, this is mu n. Is it same for class 1 and class 2?
No, sir.
No. So I have to take mu n for class 1 first. Okay, so in that case, give me the values. Okay, class 2, I assume that you will be able to do it and you know it. Okay, sigma naught 1 is how much? Quickly tell me the values so that you will, I understand that you know and you will be able to do it. Sigma naught square 1, like for the class 1, what is the prior variance in the estimate of the prior mean?
1.
Yeah, it is 1. Okay, and then mu naught for class 1. Mu naught for class 1.
0.
0, very good. And then m for class 1.
6.
6. Okay, and then ML estimate for class 1 anyway you have here. And sigma square is how much? Sigma square how much? Sigma 1 square here because it is for class 1. How do I find otherwise? Okay, how much value if you can't tell, you tell how to find it. Yeah, need quick answer to move on.
We can find ML estimate.
Okay. Of what? tell me complete sentence or the answer.
So like 1 by m into xk.
Yeah. Okay, so I take the samples of class 1. Okay, and then what I will do, I will find the sample variance. Okay, that I will call as the sigma 1 square. Correct or not? So I have all the values. Now I will substitute, I will get mu n. Okay, for class 1. Similarly, I will get mu n for class 2. Okay, so I will get this, all this gives me, okay, mu n for class 1, mu n plus for class 2. Fine, very good. Okay, then I want to do the third one. How do I solve the third one? What do I need to solve the third one? Third question here. Now again,
Posterior
some quick
probability
answers
we
are-
can use. We
What
can
is
use
that?
posterior probability.
Posterior probability. Okay, how do I get posterior probability?
And using the map estimate of mu and sigma.
Okay, so can you help me to write it here? P of
Mu and sorry, P of omega given
posterior
xk.
probability means, see, omega 1 given x. This is the posterior probability. Right? To write this, what I need, P of x given omega 1, okay, into P of omega 1 by anyway P of x, that assume that it is a constant. Okay, so I need P of x given omega 1 and P of omega 1. Is P of omega 1 with us? Is P of omega 1? Huh?
You can find class 1 has 6 samples and class 2 has 5 samples.
Okay, okay. So if somebody says that the number of samples I have collected, say uniformly across both classes and I got like this, okay, then I will be able to say that the P of omega 1 is say some 6 by 11 and P of omega 2 is 5 by 11. Okay, so if I sample uniformly from class 1 and class 2, and if I get more samples of class 1, it means that more frequency of occurrence of class 1 samples. Okay, but in here, as such, P of omega 1 is not explicitly given. Okay, so it's up to you. If you want to say, if you make that assumption, in case if I have not given and explicitly, and if you want to make assumption, fine, but write it. Okay, what is based on what assumption you are doing this? No, more specifically, I need how to write P of x given omega 1. I want to explicitly write P of x given omega 1 here. Okay, so somebody can they help me? What is P of
It's a
x given
normal
omega 1?
of mu map and n map.
Okay, mu map. Okay, that means mu n1, correct?
Yes,
Mu
sir.
map. Tell with okay, and then what should I write here?
Sigma n.
Is sigma n square? Is this
N1.
sigma n square? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, somebody any other answers? Or somebody agrees or disagrees? Is this correct or something else I have to write? What is variance? Is it sigma n1 square? For the likelihood P of x given omega 1? Is it correct or not? No other answers? Okay, so I have written another expression here. Mu n1 comma sigma 1 square. Which is correct? Second one is correct or first one is correct?
So sigma 1 in the sense sigma ml.
Sigma ml is, yeah, sigma 1 is means sigma ml only. So I have computed
Okay,
sigma ml here.
The first one is correct.
Okay, so fine. I got one vote for this. Any disagreements? Especially
Sir,
Yep.
is sigma n1 the uncertainty of mu n1.
Right. Right.
So it would be the second one because sigma 1 square will tell the spread of the variables in class 1, samples in class 1.
Right. That's very important. See, sigma n1, even while definition, what did I tell? Okay, sigma n1 is the spread. So I have clearly mentioned with the difference between them. Oh, the sigma n square is only uncertainty in our estimate of mu n. That means, see, I used some method. Okay, finally said the possible value for this mu is mu n. But my method has some certain kind of uncertainty. Okay, lack of confidence that I have expressed in sigma n square. This has nothing to do with the samples. This only has to do with the estimate of mu or the parameter I am dealing with. Okay, whereas P of x given omega 1, okay, mainly deals only with the samples. And it has nothing to do with this parameter. Say if I am very confident, fine. Okay, you will get accurate answer. If you are not very confident, okay, I don't have a provision to incorporate it here itself. Okay, so I only say that if you are say whichever best confidence you have, bring that. And this sigma square corresponds to this spread of samples. Okay, it corresponds to P of x or P of x given theta means P of x. Okay, spread of samples. So the answer is spread of samples is expressed in sigma square. You have currently defined that ML estimate itself is given as the variance, given like variance. Okay, so we have not found out a map estimate of finding variance here. Okay, I have not did a framework. Okay, to find out sigma square by map estimate. Okay, we have only discussed a framework for estimating mu by map. Okay, so if I want to do estimate sigma square by map, then I have to have prior for variance itself. So like I have done here, this variable has to be sigma square itself. Okay, d given sigma square into p of sigma square, and then I have to solve something. Okay, and finally get it. Or different whatever differentiate with respect to sigma square, or okay, do some like comparisons or whatever. Finally, get the equivalence of sigma square. Is this discussion clear? Any questions now? So this is correct. Okay, this is okay. Only uncertainty in mu n. Okay, not related with samples. Is this clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so essentially, okay, this is not correct. Okay, and this is correct. Okay, so P of now finally, P of x given omega 1 and P of x given omega 2. Similarly, P of x given omega 2 also. Okay, we write it as normal with, okay, mu and 2, okay, and sigma 2 square. Okay, so like that. Is this clear or not? So you can use here, see if I ask you to do classification, okay, then decision boundary by ML estimate, you instead of mu n, you will put, if I ask you to use only ML estimate for this classification, you put here instead of mu n, you will put mu
UML will put.
ML. Okay, mu UML and variance sigma 1 square. Okay, otherwise mu n and sigma 2 square or sigma square. Okay, is this clear or not? Once you have this, you will be able to do decision boundary and so on, all these things. Correct? Okay, so if this is clear, okay, let's now move on. Okay, to see, in multivariate case also the map can be defined. Okay, so I'm not discussing that, okay, in detail, because the derivations etc. I think it is interesting to do if you do yourself. Okay, so since simplification, algebraic simplification, and then comparisons all, okay, will look little complicated when I deliver here. Okay, I'm skipping that. But essentially that also will get a get somewhat equivalent picture. Okay, so mu n in multivariate case also you will be able to write. Okay, it will be inverse of, okay, 1 by m times sigma n inverse plus sigma n. I can probably try to write it here. Okay, mu n in univariate case what we had is mu ml into m times sigma naught square. You see here, the ML estimate is being multiplied by the variance of prior. Okay, that means the uncertainty of this will varies. If the uncertainty in the prior is very high, okay, you if the uncertainty in the prior is very high, okay, then this essentially becomes one. This whole thing essentially becomes one. Okay, so and hence this will on the other hand, this will be weighed by sigma square, right? So this will be uncertainty in the prior is high means this becomes 0. So in that way, I think the vote goes to, okay, mu ml. Sigma naught square plus sigma square mu naught okay, so in the multivariate case, exactly like this. Okay, mu bar n is equal to, so that derivation also looks interesting, but I am skipping as I said. So let me see if so if I just take m out, okay, from both places, where I get will be here. Here it is. Okay, you will get something like this. So here also I think 1 by m if you take out. So what I am trying to bring here is the analogy between the scalar case and the vector case. As you can see here, the both expressions finally look similar. Okay, in that the sigma square is replaced by covariance matrix inverse, covariance matrix, and hence the inverse of 1 by sigma naught square, 1 by sigma square, etc. will be replaced by the inverse of the covariance matrix. Okay, is this clear? Is this analogy clear?
So can you explain it once more?
Yeah. See, actually, if I ask you to do the derivation for the map estimate of the mean in the multivariate case, okay, so how do you think you will do? So assume that if I ask you to perform or find out the map estimate of mean in multivariate case, okay, so how do you think you will be doing it? What is the starting point? What do you think is the starting point? Okay, let me, sorry. This is the correct answer. So see, for example, if I ask you to do in multivariate case, so you anyway have P of X given omega, okay, as a multivariate normal distribution, okay, mu comma sigma. Okay, so you will start with covariance matrix here. Okay, assume that there are some samples D given, X1 up to Xn or Xm. Okay, these samples each feature Xk belongs to R power D. Okay, D-dimensional features, and the likelihood of these samples is modeled as P of X given omega, where it is normal with mean mu and covariance matrix sigma. Okay, I assume that sigma covariance matrix is given. Okay, and this is to be estimated. Okay, this is the question posed. Yeah, so if I ask this question, find this mu, okay, find map estimate of this mu. Okay, so where do we start with? If I ask you to find map estimate of this mu, okay, where do we start with? We formulate P of what? P of
D given mu.
Okay, we can formulate P of, we need P of mu given D. Okay, that is equal to P of D given mu. Okay, into P of mu, correct? And P of mu, prior probability, since it is a multivariate case, okay, this also will be normal with mu comma sigma naught square, mu naught comma sigma naught square, or mu naught comma sigma naught. Okay, in multivariate case. Okay, fine. So this is the prior probability of the mu given. In this case, what I want to do is, okay, I want to perform exactly similar to univariate case. Okay, expand this. Okay, first expand this by multivariate Gaussian distribution. Okay, with samples xk and its mean mu, covariance matrix sigma. Okay, and I want to expand this also with mean mu naught and covariance matrix sigma naught. Okay, so assume that I have expanded this. After expansion, I finally want to say approximate this side. I will write all in terms of, okay, gather the terms of corresponding to mu. Okay, similar to what I have done earlier, I will try to group the terms, okay, which are related with mu. This now, please note that now these are all the vectors and matrices. So I will not be able to freely write, okay, so bring this side terms here, that time this side terms here, and so on. I will not be able to do it. Okay, so I need to take care of that. Given all that, some little bit of algebraic aspects, okay, I will be writing this side as, okay, normal with mu n comma sigma n. Okay, what is this mu n giving? This is the map estimate. Okay, and this is uncertainty in this map estimate. Fine. This uncertainty now is not unlike the previous uncertainty. Okay, this is not a scalar uncertainty. This is with all the dimensions of mu n. Okay. In my estimate mu bar. Okay, mu n I will write. Fine. If we do that, do this comparison, finally, if we write mu n, okay, so mu n bar, what it look, how it looks is like this. As you can see, this has a resemblance with respect to this. See, assume that I am bringing out, so this one here, sigma naught is equivalent to, okay, sigma naught square is sigma naught here. Okay, so m times sigma naught square, I assume that I have divided both numerator and denominator with m. Then m comes with sigma square by m. Okay, and here both just sigma naught square remains. So sigma naught, okay, into sigma naught plus sigma by m whole inverse, okay, whole inverse into mu ml. Because of the vector case, please see that the dimensions also has to properly agree, and bringing this side is not possible. Okay, and it while simplification itself, okay, these all will be taken care to get to this form. I am not giving here the derivation. I am trying to give the final answer and try to give the analogy. Okay, so in the multivariate case as well, you can see that this exactly follows the similar structure. Okay, wherein sigma naught in covariance matrix of the prior into the other normalizing term into mu ml, and covariance matrix of the like samples into mu naught. Okay, so with the normalizing term. Fine. So that's what I'm trying to convey here. Is this clear or not? Is the discussion clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is the solution I have directly written. So proof is there in Duda and Har. Okay, so I'm skipping that in the interest of time. We will move on to the discussion on next topic now. Okay. Fine. See, if then when do you prefer ML estimate and when do you prefer map estimate? Given this background, okay, when do you prefer ML estimate? When do you prefer map estimate?
Sir, if our data set is as diverse as possible, then ML estimate is good enough. But if we think our data set is limited or it is biased, then we have to use map estimate.
Okay, so if it is biased case, map is preferred. So okay, that is fine. So in that case, map estimate is better, so that actually you have a prior information to take appropriate action. Fine. So next, this one case. Any other situations? Say I will give you the number of samples are very high. Okay, in that case, which one do you prefer? ML or map? Number of samples, I know that they are very high, or number of samples, assume that they are very low. Oh, that means not good enough. Small number of samples that I have collected. In that case, which one do we prefer?
Low number of samples.
We prefer what?
Map estimates.
Yeah. In terms of when we have lower number of samples, again we prefer map estimate. Okay. Why do we prefer map estimate? If we have low number of samples? Or if we have more number of samples, why ML estimate is good enough?
Sir, because M is becoming high, it dominates one
M
term.
is becoming high, so that this term is roughly close to 1. Okay, and this term is close to 0. So the prior knowledge is not needed as such. Okay, so if you have more number of samples, ML is fine. Okay, and when probably you may prefer the ML estimate. You may not want to go for map estimate at all. What is the other case where you want to go for ML estimate? See, assume that I don't have much prior knowledge in mu naught. Okay, so I don't have any assessment of the parameter I want to find. Oh, that means the variance is very high of mu naught square is very high. in the estimate of mu. Okay, so in that case, what do I go for? We
ML
go for
estimate, sir.
ML estimate.
ML estimate.
Okay, so if I don't have confidence in the parameter, prior knowledge is poor for the parameter I want to estimate, I will go again for ML estimate. Okay, so but small sample case, there makes a difference. So people in small sample case want to use domain knowledge and want to identify good prior information for the parameter we want to find and use map estimate. Okay, so is this discussion clear? Okay, so in both ML estimate and map estimate, okay, what we are finding? So P of X given omega, if we need to find, given the samples, okay, X1 to Xm, if we are asked to find P of X given omega, what we are writing this P of X given omega is P of X given omega comma theta. Okay, this is the theta we find by ML estimate or map estimate. Okay, and then write P of X given omega in the form of using this estimated theta. Is that fine or not? So essentially we're writing finally by n of, okay, mu ML, okay, comma sigma square, okay, or whatever, or mu map comma sigma square and so on, right? So essentially what we are doing is we are parameterizing the likelihood, finding the parameters only of the likelihood and writing the likelihood. Is this clear or not? In ML estimate or map estimate? Okay, but the question here is, see, in map estimate you have finally you have found, okay, mu n, that is mu map is equal to mu n. That is, you have found the estimated value of mean, and okay, you also have found sigma n square. What is this sigma n square defined as? What is the sigma n square we said? Yeah, uncertainty in mu n. So it means that, are you confident fully on mu n? So only is this mu n possible, or there may be several possibilities of mu n? But this mu n is one among the like best one among the different possibilities of mu n. How do you interpret it? See, assume that in Gaussian case, mu estimate of map, finally when you want to do, okay, what I have got is, okay, P of d theta given d, given the samples, the estimate of mu, okay, or the estimate of theta, what I got is, okay, this normal with mu n comma sigma n square. Okay, that means, what does it mean? If I sketch all the possible values of mu, okay, among all the possible values of mu, I see that the map estimate is picking the best possible value of mu. Is this correct or not? The other values of mu are also possible. However, the map estimate is picking among the possible values of mu, it is picking the best possible value of mu. Is this correct or not? Is this discussion clear?
Yes, sir.
So it say, for example, the other, this also can exist. So for example, this mu also may be possible. This also is possible. Okay, this is also possible, but these are all possible with lesser probability, okay, than the map estimate that it picks in. Mu hat or mu n, okay, or mu map, okay, picks the best possible mu given by the posterior of the, okay, parameter mu given d. This is posterior. and throws away all the other possibilities. But is that a great strategy? Can we do better? Instead of picking up the only best mu, if I want to make use of other possibilities as well, okay, so in case assume that sigma n square, okay, is small. In that case, I am fine, okay, to pick the best possibility. But if sigma n square is high, it means that the best possibility means it's not too different from the other possibilities. Okay, so in that case, picking just the mu n, that is mu map, is not a very good strategy. So now the question is, I want to write P of x given D. Okay, that means I want to write this given all samples, I want to write P of x given omega. Okay. So if I want to write that, can I do better than doing map estimate? That is the question now. Can anyone have a guess?
So P of x given omega at a particular x can be kind of a sum of, suppose the probability of having mu n as the mean is something, but that probability multiplied by the px given px given omega due to that mu plus px given omega due to some other mu with that probability, and a sum and a normalized sum of that.
Okay, so I will try to put it, okay, in some notation here. Okay, try to see what you are conveying, is it same? See what we have previously done. We have seen that, okay, P of x given theta we have written. Okay, we have parameterized, okay, P of x given omega, we have purely written as P of x given theta. Okay, this theta being the best possible value of mu. That means essentially I have used one particular value of theta here. Okay, so I have not used all possible values of theta or mu. Okay, but I have used only one specific possibility of mu, that is the best possibility. Okay, given by the maximum a posteriori probability. But maximum a posteriori probability says this is the best possible mu, but there are other possibilities as well. So what I want to make use now is, I just don't want to make use the best possibility, I want to make use of others as well. So what essentially the suggestion probably is, I will use P of x given, say, theta. That means I want to consider now all possibilities, not just the best possibility. But posterior probability for the theta, given the samples is already found, and it gives the weights or the which are more probable, which are less probable. Putting together, okay, what I can get is P of x given D. Okay, and that is given by this expression. So is the same you are telling, Pranjal?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So anybody say others, do you agree with me, or is this clear?
Yes, sir.
What we have found previously is P of mu given D, but what we were doing for map, okay, mu map or mu n is simply maximum of, okay, we are taking arg max of P of, okay, theta or mu given D. Okay, so this is what we were doing before. Now, instead of picking only the maximum one, if I want to use all the other possibilities as well, okay, other possibilities will be weighted by their respective probabilities. Okay, now the importance nevertheless will be given more for the best possible mu. Okay, because this will have higher value at this location. Okay, so the probability is higher at this mu n or mu map. Okay, position, but other mu's are also possible. Okay, but with lesser probabilities. Now to find out this sample P of x given omega, okay, the class likelihood, I use the posterior of the whole posterior of the parameter itself. I will not be using maximum of a posterior probability. I am using the whole posterior probability. weighted by accordingly that weights the possible parameters or values of theta. And this expression will summarize that. Okay, to get P of x given D. Fine or not? This is referred to as Bayesian estimation. Okay, so like Bayesian classification we have seen, right? Okay, similar to that, this is referred to as Bayesian estimation. Bayesian classification is for classifying the class 1, class 2 samples or finding out the decision boundaries. Bayesian estimation is for finding out the parameters of the likelihoods, okay, in each class or in any given data. Is this clear? This is referred to as Bayesian estimation because you're using the posterior for doing the purpose of estimation. Okay, so you're using here the whole posterior. Is this discussion clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine, good. So if any questions you can ask here. Okay, I will move on to another small discussion before we conclude the class now. See, unlike the map and ML estimates, this Bayesian estimate now gives what? Will it give a parameter value? This is minus infinity, infinity. Okay, but defined by this theta. Okay, P of mu given theta, D. Also, if you consider P of x given mu, okay, explicitly for a Gaussian case, then what will happen? This will become minus infinity, infinity. P of x given mu into P of mu given D, d theta. See, if you expand this, okay, this is what? This one is essentially normal with mu n comma sigma n square. Okay, and this is what? This is what? Normal with what? Can one of you tell what is this mu P of x given mu? Normal with mu comma sigma square. This is the likelihood itself, parameterized by mu. Okay, so if you substitute and expand, this involves an integral. Okay, this doesn't give an estimate for mu. Bayesian estimation doesn't give an estimate for mu. This gives directly P of x given mu. Okay, this is essentially what it is giving is P of x given omega of that class. Okay, comma mu, parameterized by mu. Okay, so this Bayesian estimation doesn't give a point estimate. It directly gives a likelihood. Okay, and if you find this turns out to be, okay, if you find this, if you summarize this turns out to be P of x given mu by Bayesian estimate, P of x given omega by Bayesian estimate turns out to be mu n by sigma square plus sigma n square. Okay, I'm not finding out. Okay, you can substitute these things, but integral is not very trivial. Okay, so directly you can take the answer here. What do you notice here in this solution for P of x given omega by Bayesian estimate? What do you notice here? Mu n is, so is this clear or not? Whatever I have written here.
Sir, why have you written P of x given mu on the left hand side?
Okay, okay, fine. See, why I have, okay, fine. So it is not exactly P of x given mu, it is P of x given D, sorry. Yeah. So it is, in fact, I'm parameterizing by mu, but here as such, we are not using a particular mu, so it is P of x given D. Yeah, I will change it, fine. So other things? Given all samples, we directly want to find the likelihood itself. We don't want to find the parameter here. Yeah, correct. Right? So anything else? Is this clear otherwise? So what essentially we are doing is, I will summarize here in the next slide. Okay. So if I give you some samples, okay, and say D, some samples X1 up to Xm. And if I want to, my aim is to find X of P of X given omega, okay, or likelihood, estimate the likelihood. Okay, then the given, assume that, to simplify this, we assumed a mathematical form this like for this likelihood. We are considering a special case of Gaussian. Okay, and the sigma square, okay, is given, and this is to be estimated either by ML, or you find out P of X given omega directly by Bayesian estimation. Okay, that is the question. So in that case, first the ML estimate of P of X given omega, I am writing for a particular class, so I am not explicitly writing omega 1 and omega 2, will be normal with mu ML comma sigma square. Okay, for the map estimate of likelihood, what is map estimate of likelihood? P of X given omega is normal with mu map comma sigma square. Okay, and Bayesian estimate of likelihood, what is this? Is normal with mu n comma sigma square plus sigma n square. Okay, so where does this sigma n square has come from? Where does this sigma n square has come from? Huh? Can one of you tell? Where P of mu given D is normal with mu n comma sigma n square. Okay, and mu ml is, anyway, you know, that sample mean. Is this clear or not? So what is this Bayesian estimate doing? In addition to map estimate, I need some verbal description for this. Yeah, quick answer. You people are
It
there
is
or not?
taking into account the
Yeah.
uncertainty of mu n also while estimating the likelihood.
Right, very good. So what it is saying is, see, if you are very certain about this mu n, then sigma n square is 0. Okay, in that case, whatever you have, sigma square is fine. Okay, sample variance is okay. So you again have the likelihood estimate also with same variance. But if you have uncertainty in finding this mu n, okay, then your likelihood estimate is not very certain. You have to incorporate that uncertainty in this mu n also into the likelihood uncertainty. Okay, so your samples may go plus or minus, okay, than the current estimate of sigma square, right? That's what it is saying. Is this clear or not? Okay, this comes because you are using the whole mu given D. Okay, in Bayesian estimate, you are not using just the point estimate. Okay, like mu n. So whereas here in map, you use only just the best possible mu by this mu given D and throw away the rest of the things. Okay, is this clear or not? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will ask you one question. Okay, in this in multivariate case, how do you think will happen? Just guess. You can, one of you can guess. Can one of you guess what will happen to the multivariate case? Huh? Yes or no? Any answer? See, multivariate case, most of the times, they fall in line with the univariate case. So even though the derivations are tedious, okay, or may involve sometimes. Oh, so what do you think will happen? Sigma plus sigma n, that's all. What is sigma n again? P of mu given d. Okay, if you write as a Gaussian with mu n bar comma sigma n, okay, then the sigma n is uncertainty and sigma is okay, ML estimate.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. We have class at 10.
Okay, okay. No, fine, we will wind it up there. But is this clear or not? Fine. Okay, so we will close it here. But if you have any questions, you can ask quickly. Okay. Thank you then. Yeah. Those, if somebody want to ask questions, they can ask. Otherwise, we will leave now.